Hello everyone, thanks for joining us for week 12 of the DKMR Invitational. I'm your host, Kobayashi Maru, and this week we have a new challenger and we have new overlays. It's going to be a great week, and as you guys might have heard, our challenger is Xixo. Also, once again, I'm joined tonight by Disciple. Thanks for coming on and casting with me.
Excited to be here. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. So Xixo will be competing first against DKMR's latest pickup, Faramir. And for those of you who don't know Faramir, he was a member of Team Mana Grind until recently when they disbanded, and he's placed in countless weekly tournaments, went 6-0 in the Gentleman's Cup. He's a beast. And if Xixo can manage to take down Faramir in that best of 5, he will then be facing our reigning champion DTwo in a best of 7. So these are two formidable pros, and as we saw last week, they should not be underestimated. I'm really excited for tonight's games. I'm so glad you guys have joined us, and let's get up on the social media, tell people about it. I know there are other tournaments going on, but you really should tell them that this is the place to be. We've got great players, we've got a great format, and also tell us what you think about how the new tournament looks. We have overlays for the intros, overlays for the games, overlays for the mulligan. It's all brand new. Let us know what you think and let the world know that this is going on.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think people really underestimate, especially the DKMR players. We saw last week how Tice would, I think at the time, rated 14th in tournament performance in the entire world, came through, got beat 3-2, and then, of course, the challenger then, DTwo, was able to take it through 4-0 in the series. Now he's going to be the reigning king, and I'm really looking a lot for these DKMR players, and I think it's going to take a really good run for Xixo to be able to beat both of them.
This is so great. See, this is why I like this job, because I was about to ask Disciple to talk about last week. I don't even have to do it. We're right here. That's the wrap-up of last week. It's going to be an even better week this week. Any other words you want to say? Because, I mean, you're on fire. You're doing exactly what I want.
I just think there's a lot of hype behind this kind of building up how these DKMR players are beating down kind of every opponent that's come through. I think only twice in the Invitationals has the challenger been able to beat both players, and I think that this is just more and more opportunities for members of kind of the outside teams to come through, fight against. I think another thing we have to look at is kind of just how the metagame is changing. How we talked about last week, how Hunter was kind of the strongest, but we saw a Druid go 4-0. And I think that's one of the other kind of hype-building factors here is how exactly the metagame is changing. And it looks like Hunter may not be at top anymore, and it could just be up to any deck to really come through and show us kind of what it has to offer. Exactly.
I mean, that's why I'm excited. But I want to just get into the format of the show. So we do have a great show for you tonight. Some of you are new to this event. So just to break it down really quickly for you, each week we have a new challenger taking on up to 2 DKMR pros for a cash prize that's growing every week. We've had great pros in the past get stomped, like Trump, Ignite, Z-Rusher, Raynad, Chalky. We've had other pros take wins. We've had Alchemist on. We've had Wampy on. We've also had other pros like Ecop on, some controversial pros. So we've had a little bit of everything on this show. And the way we do it is in the first match, the challenger will be playing in a best of 5, and if that challenger gets past that best of 5, if he wins, he'll receive $25, and then he goes on to play in a best of 7 for a cash prize that is currently at $225. Every week that DKMR wins the best of 7, one of their players, the prize pool increases $75. So if Xixo is able to take down both of those players tonight, he will walk away with $250. And if all that happens, the best of 7 prize pool resets to $75 next week. The other way this can play out is if Xixo is defeated by Faramir. In that case, Faramir will play against DTwo in the best of 7 for the initial $25 for the honor of playing in the best of 7 spot next week, and then the best of 7 prize pool increases. It'll be $300 next week. So yeah, it's a really innovative format. We love it. It's shown great games in the past, and tonight we have a great challenger, Xixo. If you're not familiar with him, he is on Root Gaming, and he is a German pro who lives in Berlin, or is based in Berlin, and he's placed first in the Liquid Hearth Open #2, first in ESL EU Beta Tournament number 10, first in Zotac NA number 8, and wait a minute, check this out. He has an all-kill against Cloud9 in the Gamers Origins Super Bowl Brawl. He has an all-kill. I love it. It just reminds me of StarCraft. I get like the goosey bumps. So good. Just in case you don't know him, his Twitter is Root Xixo. You should just go to his Twitter and add him, and you should also check out Root Gaming. I'm going to go to Root Gaming's website here. So this is their Hearthstone team. They've got Root Eggy, who's a great player, a commentator, and runs his own tournament. They've got Show. They've got Era. They've got Xixo. I mean, this is a solid team. It's a growing team. It's kind of a smaller team, but it's nothing to sneeze at. And Xixo is certainly, in my opinion, one of their top players, if not their top player. What do you think?
That's very true. Another kind of thing to note, it's not quite there along with his tournament statistics, but he's been one of the first players to Legend almost every season. He's been very frequently the first player to Legend, which is it's incredibly cool just to see not only a player who can compete so heavily against the top pros, but also just generally sweep the Hearthstone population. This is a very strong team. This was the Maz's team before he went over to Team Liquid, and now, I mean, I've seen a lot from Show and ERA. Haven't seen so much from Eggy in the past. Show, one of the most impressive warrior players there is out there. Xixo is incredibly strong. He's also a friend of mine. He's offered me a little bit of help while I've been kind of getting to the competitive level in the game, I suppose. And he's a bit of an innovator with his decks. He has given me a pretty good mage deck, which I wouldn't be surprised to see here. A really strong kind of value mid-range secret mage. But he's very versatile with the decks that he can bring out, so I expect to see a few different options from him.
And not just is Xixo a good player, but as you were mentioning their team, they have some significant accomplishments. They've placed 3rd and 4th in the Super Brawl. Root Show was 4th in the Well Played Cup number 1. Legend number 1 Peaks. Top 16 finishes by Show, Root, Era, and Xixo. And Legend number 1 Peaks is kind of like and top 16 finishes. It's kind of another way of saying, like, these guys are all around high level players. We have a really nice format where you basically get to see a nice range of decks, but not a ton of decks. But then in the best of 7, you're guaranteed to see a lot of decks. So I like that this format allows, it's not a best of 3, you know, it allows you to see a variety of decks over the night.
Yeah, I think that's very, very important to kind of just the strength of the competition here, is getting to see a lot of decks coming in. You can see how they all match up. You get the potential to counter pick and to I don't know, I guess try to mind game your opponent here. Ooh, and we're going to see right off the bat a interesting take on Token Druid against a pretty standard aggressive hunter. And this Token Druid, a lot of people know it as Kalento's Druid. I think it was originally coined by Impact, but it focuses on developing some pretty strong threats on the board, similar to Token, without running the Violet Teacher. Instead, they substitute in cards like the Shade of Naxxramas and, of course, the Echoing Ooze. And then you try to come through with some explosive turns, comboing with the Force of Nature and Savage Roar.
Yeah. So as you guys notice, we have a brand new overlay. So just give us a shout out. Let us know if you're enjoying this, you don't like it. Just give us your thoughts on it. As well, we have a little creeper coming in after the Leper Gnome. Those are pretty straightforward turns. Those are your best plays, and they're nice one-cost minions.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the Leper Gnome's case.
Yeah, for Hunter, you have some pretty easy decisions. For, you know, if you have mana, you essentially just play out your cards, play out your threats as quickly as possible. And it's not too much of a challenge to just throw out your Leper Gnome turn 1, get out as much damage as you can. If you can get 4 damage from a Leper Gnome, it's usually pretty good. Even if he doesn't quite get the buffs with the Undertaker that I'd assume he's running in this deck, if he's running double Leper Gnome.
Yeah, it's a fair assumption.
And right off the bat, there's going to be a bit of damage coming through from the Hunter, which the Druid immediately has to worry about, since he doesn't have as much safety as some other decks do. He does have a couple of taunts, potentially with a Defender of Argus and with the Druid of the Claw, of course, but the Hunter's Mark and the Freezing Traps are pretty great ways to remove those big threats from the board to push through damage. And if Druid can't get going and can't keep the board clear and keep his health up for the explosive turns, you know, 8, 9, and 10, then he could be in a bit of danger.
Love that Shade of Naxxramas, man. That thing is so popular. And, oh, look at this. A turn 4 Houndmaster. Probably going to go on the Spiders. That's one of the most standard turn 4s or turn 3 coin plays here.
Right.
You thinking about the 1/1?
I'm confused why I couldn't see the Houndmaster in his hand. Okay, there it is. I guess my view is a little bit messed up. So he's thinking about the flare, I think, to take out this Shade of Naxxramas immediately, but he knows he can flare next turn on the 3 health Shade of Naxxramas and take it out without losing his Haunted Creeper or his Web Spinner.
A 3/3 minion's not hitting that critical point right now, at least not with any buffs.
Right, yeah, that's absolutely true. So this gives him a really solid trade if he just taunts it up now, attacks face, and then, yeah, of course, can just take out that Shade of Naxxramas on his next turn.
So now you've got 4 mana. You've got an expensive creeper. It looks like you could have potentially a swipe in hand that you could play. I think the swipe seems to be a reasonable play here. It's going to allow you to get rid of the 3/4 and kill the 1/1. That seems solid to me. What are your thoughts?
Against the Hunter, sometimes swipe can be a little bit more valuable than this, but he doesn't have too many other options. So yeah, I think he's just going to go
So
ahead.
you're talking about saving it for after an unleash?
Something like that. It can be used to get maybe the Starving Buzzard through a taunt. If you kind of need that little bit of snipe damage. He does have a Wrath in hand though, so he knows that if he does need that 1 point of damage to remove a threat, he can use it. So we will see the swipe come out. And it's a nice way to keep down the threats as soon as they come out. It also gives a less favorable trade onto the Shade of Naxxramas. Oh, he's actually just going to use the Shade of Naxxramas immediately to get rid of that damage, which is smart, because if you let that 4 damage come through 1 or 2 times, then you can put yourself at critical health.
Yeah, even though the Druid has effective healing with the hero power, you do have to be careful with the Hunter just running you down, right? You always have to have that in the back of your mind, at least.
Right. If he puts a strong minion on the board, even with 4 attack or more, then you really have to keep those threats down. Say if you play something like a Savannah Highmane and you let it hit yourself in the face even once, then you've likely lost the game because of the damage that Hunter can push through so easily. He already has double kill command in his hand. He already has 10 damage for 6 mana, and mages all over the world are just crying about that. But already Druid has to be so careful about his life.
Yeah.
You can see he's down at 17. He has some Ancients of Lore for the healing, but he might not get to the point where he can use those too safely.
I mean, playing down the 4/6 and being able to taunt it up is really nice, right? Only like a deadly shot's going to be able to clear that out. Other than a deadly, only a deadly shot, right? A lucky deadly shot. Right,
that's very true, and that's going to be what he's relying on to keep these minions from pushing through.
Oh my god, he can also do the ooze. Wait, he's wrathing? Oh, because he's got the Innervate. I was going to say, you got to play the ooze and then the Defender. That's 3 taunts. That's almost GG.
Yeah, that's the strongest play he can make right now, and it's incredibly strong against Hunter. What's especially nice, what we know, is that there's no Unleash in the hand here of Xixo, so he won't be able to draw basically infinite cards from the double Buzzard combo. And he's going to have a really hard time pegging through the 7 health of taunt and then the 2 3 health taunts.
You know what the only thing is sexier than watching a Druid taunt up against a Hunter with 3 really powerful minions is watching it do this nice new overlay.
I think that's definitely true. I think it's incredibly sexy. I love to see a Hunter that can't, immediately eliminate a threat without really any repercussions. He can't Hunter's Mark that Spectral Knight, of course. He can't kill command it. He just has to run things into it. And right now he's kind of running out of steam.
He's running out of things to run into it, right? Oh, you know what? He could get lucky with a trap. He does get a snake trap. If he got a really lucky trap and convinced his opponent to attack into it, I don't think that would ever happen, but he's reaching here. Hunter's reaching.
Right. I think the snake trap is pretty good because it'll give him a lot of draw. He draws into his 3rd Starving Buzzard. Of course, one of them being from the Web Spinner. But this will actually give him 9 cards if his minion is attacked next turn. He might want to throw out...
Oh my god.
Oh,
that's incredible.
He's going to burn 4 cards if one of his minions gets attacked this next turn.
Wow. And let's see what happens here. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a spell to kind of swipe the face and then like clear the minions before he has to attack in. So okay, so he's not going to attack minions here. I think that's really smart, right? With all these buzzards.
Yeah, and he checked with the Defender of Argus, because if it was Freezing Trap, he gets his Defender of Argus back. It costs 6 mana, and he could even taunt up again to give them additional health. He'd have a lot of options
save
here.
it for a later taunt up of the next Spectral Knight. But yeah, that's totally a solid play.
Right, and what he learned from that attack is that it's not explosive and it's not freezing. He'd have to assume it's Snake Trap, because not a single hunter runs Snipe, except for maybe like 4 on the entire ladder. And so he's actually feeling pretty confident now, knowing that as long as I don't attack the minions, he could push through for damage here if he wanted. If he threw out his Druid of the Claw and then set up for even just a Force of Nature next turn. If you take a look at his damage, he has 9. He could push through 13, 14 this turn, bring his opponent down to 8, and then finish his opponent off with, I mean, basically anything.
What are you thinking? What do you think he's thinking of right here? Spectral Knight?
He could Spectral Knight. He could Spectral Knight Hero Power, and that would almost set up. If his Spectral Knight survived, then he would have lethal next turn. Oh, he's gonna actually set up the Snake Trap. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. And then let's see if he gets all the attacks in.
He did queue up the attacks before it happened. I don't know how much I love this, because he knows that basically the game's going to be over the next turn if he had pushed through the damage.
Yeah.
So giving this hunter draw or giving it like not giving him draw probably didn't matter.
He did burn Unleash. He burned 2 Unleashes. So wow.
He just burned half of his deck.
Yeah, I think that actually worked out really well. And what is that? A weapon? Oh my god. 2 Unleashes and a weapon. Huh. That's gonna be hard to do. So yeah, it did end up working out in his favor, I would say.
He denied Hunter a lot of cards, but he did also delay his win by just a little bit.
And gave his Hunter the Houndmaster to even delay it potentially more.
Right. If he had played the Spectral Knight and the Spectral Knight had and at least 1 minion had survived the turn, then he would have had lethal on this upcoming 8 mana turn. But as it looks, he's very likely to win here. He already denied so many cards from this Hunter. And that's kind of what Hunter relies on. You know, his cards aren't incredibly strong standalone, but the synergy between them all is what makes Hunter incredibly strong. And since he just burned a lot of the cards, he got rid of the weapons, he got rid of the Unleashes, he denied a lot of that Hunter synergy, and now he's just forcing him to try and play with some rather inefficient answers.
And he gets a double Leok for 3 damage from each of his snakes. Wow.
And even with all of these snakes, he still can't take out all the taunt minions. He does keep himself alive for next turn, which is really, really nice for him. And
are you thinking Druid of the Claw here for another taunt, or are you thinking push for damage?
No, I don't think you taunt up a Druid of the Claw at all here, because you have to expect your opponent to have drawn his Hunter's Marks. You've seen every card your opponent has burned. Everyone is shown. And your Hunter's basically drawn through his entire deck. So you can assume that every card he hasn't burned or played, he has in his hand. Yeah, you have to assume Leroy, 2 kill commands, the 2 Hunter's Marks. Yeah, and there are, of course, you know, maybe 6 cards he hasn't drawn yet. Right. But with these Hunter's Marks, you don't play down a taunted Druid of the Claw, since... I feel like that's 3 cards from my Hearthstone gameplay. I feel like that's 3. Okay, 3. So very, very small. You can assume that your Hunter has drawn basically every card in his deck, and that if he hasn't played it or burn it, he has it in his hand. So you know that Hunter's Mark deals 5 damage. If you Druid of the Claw at all, you do it for damage. Yeah. Because you need to kill your opponent before he comes out with the Leroy kill command combo on you. Like right now... Ancient of Lore? That's tricky. Wait a minute. He has to Ancient of Lore heal himself? Except he's not. Or... Wait, there's lethal there from Xixo. Yeah. Oh my god. Because of the Hunter's Mark, Leroy double kill command? Oh, well, I was just going to say you web spinner double kill command hero power. Oh, wow. And Hunters. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow! Okay, so in effect,
Hunter takes down game number 1. I think Faramir playing out, attacking those snakes was his downfall ultimately.
Yeah, it looked, it looked kind of like a good play, but I had my hesitations, which you heard kind of as soon as it happened, because I thought he just needed to go for the win there. If you let a Hunter draw his entire deck, even though he loses some of his, very strong combos, some of his great, solid synergies, you've still just kind of given him probably the answers he needed, and we saw that right there. He didn't push through for lethal. He didn't end him on the crucial turn, and so he allowed his opponent to double kill command him, hero power him, and like I said, if you don't see your opponent burn a card or play a card, you can assume he has it in his hand. He didn't burn or play any of his kill commands.
Yeah, and as a result, we will have a mirror match, Hunter versus Hunter, and we've got Kill Command, Scientist, Undertaker, Buzzard with a coin versus Leroy, Scientist, Bow. I'm going to give the advantage to Xixo here. Not just because of the coin, but I like everything going on here better for him.
Yeah, the aggro start here with the Undertaker is incredibly strong. Undertaker, one of the strongest cards in the game right now. You can see already it allows for some really favorable trades. If he wants to run into the Mad Scientist, he can just opt to go for face, since Hunter vs. Hunter is basically just a face race. There's a little bit of opportunity for trading and board control, of course, but against the Hunter, you always have to be careful that board control doesn't lead into just a huge Unleash the Hound sweep.
Yeah. Let that be a lesson to you guys. If you can taunt up and not proc a trap and go for lethal next turn, that should be your way of dealing with a Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you have to kill a Hunter before he kills you, and you can assume that with his hero power and with his huge direct damage, he's going to kill you at some point. So you can't stall out too hard against a Hunter unless you have some insane armor from Control Warrior or healing from Priest.
Yeah, and we got Misha and an explosive trap, whereas Faramir's bringing down the Scientist and the Spectral Spiders.
Explosive trap is probably going to be pretty weak in this matchup, just because you usually aren't pushing through your damage from your hounds, and so you can usually just proc it with something like a Spectral Spider and not be too worried. But right now, with a 6 health Misha, we really need to see a Hunter's Mark coming through here. That's going to be pretty rough for Faramir to run through.
Leroy, what?
Wow.
Leroy's coming on down.
Okay.
We both are like, that's another way to deal with it.
Interesting. I think that play, it takes care of the threats on the board, but I think it probably loses in the game in the long run. He's down at 18 health. His opponent has 30 health, and his opponent has Leroy where he doesn't. And if you're racing each other to the face, you kind of need everything going for you. And right now, it looks like Faramir has nothing going for him, except for a couple small minions on the board.
Yeah.
I think at this point, Xixo wins next turn.
Next turn. Wow.
He has Leroy. He has Kill Command. He can Leroy coin Kill Command. He won't have a beast on the board, but Leroy coin Kill Command attack deals well more than enough damage. Of course, the freezing trap could keep Faramir alive for a turn.
Yes.
We'll see if he...
Explosive trap and freezing trap. That's going to keep him alive.
Okay.
Well,
wait a minute.
Explosive.
He can unleash... He unleashed coins Leroy, and he...
Oh, but he's going to Buzzard. And
Buzzard Kill Command.
Buzzard Kill Command as well, with the weapon and all that damage. And
yeah,
that is a really fast game number 2. Xixo jumping out to a 2-0 lead.
You know, I think there are times when you can use Leroy as removal, maybe in like 2% of all games you play. But most of the times it's going to be wrong. And I was wondering, you know, does Faramir see something here that I don't? I guess it was his only way to remove it, but it just ended up putting him in such a bad board position and removing all potential of winning the game in the future. Yeah. I don't quite like that move. We're seeing Hunter incredibly strong here. Shaman, typically one of the worst Hunter matchups, but we did see it beat Hunter last week with Tice against
And this
D2.
hunter's running Bloodlust, Hex, Haunted Creeper, and Feral Spirits. Feral Spirits are great. Creeper's okay if you get a Defender of Argus. And I'm gonna imagine this is running a Defender of Argus. I'm gonna check it real quick here. Alright, into the game.
Oh, this is the dream start, though. Turn 1 Undertaker, turn 2 double Death Rattle with the Web Spinner and the Leper Gnome. It's going to put him in a great spot. He already has a 3-4 on the board. And right away, yeah, we're not going to see any response from the Shaman. This is going to... Oh my goodness, he can double Undertaker as well and put them both up at 2-3s.
Oh,
he has
God,
all the
so
options
painful.
available to him. This is the dream draw.
This is a ridiculous start. We've got a couple of Violet Teachers and a Defender of Argus. We've got 2 Storms. We've got 2 Earth Shocks. Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to use an Earth Shock to just sort of start to cope with what's going on here.
Oh, that's going to feel so bad to have to Earth Shock something that you can't even kill with Earth Shock itself.
Oh my god. I think he's praying to get another Earth Shock later to Earth Shock the Leper Gnome. This is so incredibly brutal. The Xixo is looking to 3-0 Faramir right here.
Yeah, we can't call it yet because with the Feral Spirits, there's a chance that Faramir can stabilize coming here into the mid game. If we have more kind of dead draws like Loatheb or like Starving Buzzard by itself, then Faramir might be able to catch up with a couple strong swing plays. He has the Lightning Storm as well. That he's just gonna bring out right now, which I think is a bit of a dice roll, just a little bit of a dice roll.
I mean, you just hunted with no healing. You really have no choice. Is the problem? You know?
Right, but you need the 3 on the Undertaker, and he gets 2, and that's gonna feel rough.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna feel so rough. That's gonna be one more turn where he can swing through with the Undertaker, and that's not damage. Actually, might be more because he drew the Silverback Patriarch, clearly the best taunt in the game.
But he actually is choosing instead of the Patriarch to play the Houndmaster.
All right, all right. This play pushes through more damage overall as well. The Silverback Patriarch is a little bit safer, kind of greedy to try and keep your Undertaker alive. But just throwing out a naked Houndmaster, when you're looking at the board it's against, it looks pretty strong. You also know that it can take out Feral Spirits in the future.
Yeah, let me jump forward here because the game's moving so fast. For the Shaman, we have an Egg, and then we have Loatheb for the Hunter, pushing through the damage. So we've got a Houndmaster, a Loatheb, a Totem comes out that is not a Taunt Totem, and that's going to be it. That was a really fast 3-0, and the Hunter shows just how strong it can be despite losing pretty quickly last week. So that was the first best of 5. We will have a best of 7 next, and with that curiosity, I will carry you guys into the Mulligans. The best of 7, and we have Root Xixo versus DKMR D2. Are you excited? Are you excited, man?
Oh, I am so excited. I don't want to see Xixo just take a Hunter sweep, and actually we're not going to see a Hunter at all here.
All right. Mind games, hashtag mind games. We have the Warlock versus the Shaman. And wow, D2, the balls on this guy.
All right, so he took the Shaman in, which can typically be a bad matchup against Hunter. We saw him win a game off of Tice last week on that matchup, but I think this is actually going to be pretty strong, especially with his nice opening there of keeping the Feral Spirits and the Earthshock up against this Zoolock.
And he's got 2 oozes, he's got a Hex, and you know what? You always want to save Hex for that Doom Guard unless something really crazy happens. So we right now have a Doom Guard in the hand of our opponent, which is really bad in the early game. Juggler and Undertaker as well as Harvest Golem are all pretty solid. But, you know, this is as good of a start as a Shaman can get. And Shaman has a huge toolkit to deal with a Warlock. So I'm going to go ahead and give the Shaman not just an advantage, but a large advantage with the way it's set up right now. I'm going to give him a 2-1 favorite to take this, just by starting.
All right. Yeah, you can see a very heavy hand coming out there in the Zoo immediately. And as Zoo, you kind of just want to release your hand as quickly as possible, especially against a Shaman who may not have the Lightning Storm. If it's the Lightning Storm, then that could be dangerous. Right there, a very proactive Earthshock, not killing the, not killing the. What? Undertaker.
Yes.
But just keeping it from buffing up any.
I think the other reason he did it is because he knows that next turn he's going to be coining out ferals or potentially using all 3 mana by coining out the ooze. Is it the ooze? What are they?
Echoing ooze.
The echoing ooze, right? So like I think the idea isn't that he's wanting to kill it, that he knows it's going to eventually get silenced. And so he just doesn't want to spend the mana on future turns because it was a dead mana turn. I do this play all the time, and it's completely money, especially if you're not that concerned about your silence in the future.
Right. It wasn't. Yeah, it was a very good play overall. It kept him as safe as possible. He also, if he could see his opponent's hand, he would just be smiling from ear to ear. Because the double Doomguard is going to sit there so heavy. He can throw it out turn 5. He might need to because he's going to lose board control very, very quickly here. But he's going to feel bad losing that much from his hand and being forced to tap every single turn just to keep the threats going.
And I'm going to talk a little bit about this deck. We do have a Harrison Jones in here. We do have a Doomhammer, and we do have a Bloodlust. So he's teched in those cards instead of, say, the Alakir, the Windlord. This is a new shaman. It keeps developing every week. Last week we saw Bloodlust and Alakir without Harrison. So that Harrison's obviously meant to deal with either hunter weapons or warrior weapons. Gives him a tech he might need. And bringing down the Defender of Argus here on the Harvest Golem is really nice. It allows him to not just taunt it up, but give him insane value on that Golem. And he's going to need that because the Warlock needs board control, and he's going to lose it very quickly here.
Yeah, that's true. There are good responses from the Shaman, but his hand is looking a little heavy. He has the Hex there, which is going to be really nice if we see the turn 5 Doomguard. It really depends on what this next draw is, because if he gets another rather dead draw, like the Nerubian Egg is right here, he's probably just going to throw down a Doomguard, hope to keep the other Doomguard, and then press on through.
I think that's almost game over if you do that. If you lose the Doomguard, oh god. Yeah, let's see what he draws here. 2 Nerubians. So okay, I would prefer dropping the Nerubian here. You're not dead yet, and you're gonna wanna minimize the chance of losing your Doomguard, your second Doomguard. That's a pivotal card in this matchup, especially when you're behind.
All right. I guess you're right. I mean, right now you have to expect that if you Doomguard once, you'll lose the other one. So it's just a matter of if you're going to throw cards away, what are the least bad cards, or what are the worst cards? I guess you can toss.
Yeah.
And I think Nerubian Eggs would probably be pretty nice since right now they're just so slow, and since you're fighting for board control, Nerubian Eggs don't help you get that at all. But they are really nice insurance against lightning storms if you can flood the board in the future. Right now it's not looking too...
You're right, the Nerubian's not great, but with another Nerubian and a Void Terror, he can actually make a pretty scary Void Terror and 2 4/4s. And that's not a bad turn 5, considering just 2 turns ago he had very few options. So, okay, he's going to go for the Dark Iron, though, which is going to do board clear. Same concept, he'll get the 4/4, but he won't get 2, and he'll get a board clear. Next turn, he can Void Terror the empty Nerubian. That's a slightly better tempo play, not as big of a power play, and it's more safe to Lightning Storm, as you said.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, I totally agree with this play. It fought for board control a little bit better. It didn't make as many guys as he needed, or as he could have, not as he needed. But I think that this was definitely the right play. There was a Hex used on the Nerubian, which means that this Void Terror is going to feel a lot safer coming out, as well as the Doomguard follow-up in the future.
Yeah. Okay, and Void Terror, as well as the 2 Doomguards and a Spectral Spider. And he gets an Abusive Sergeant. So he does now have the ability to play Void Terror and Spider, or Void Terror and Abusive. Nothing wrong with that. You definitely want to clear out the Unbound. That can get out of control, and he does. Brings down the Void Terror. Yeah, he's with 2 Doomguards now, he's definitely going to get value on one of them. He's making a play for the game, which he wasn't really doing much earlier. So this is really strong play from Xixo, showing why he is a top pro, and we're so excited to have him joining us and playing with us this week.
Yeah, it's a really nice play, even against Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm is only going to kill one of them. Even if he does Lightning Storm and get a good roll, he still has to trade in his minions to try and keep the board down. And since there's no Lightning Storm there, I think right now D2 is not feeling too happy. He's going to have to start hitting things with his Doomhammer, taking a bit of damage, but controlling the board fairly nicely. he's not down, but he's not in as amazing as the spot as he would hope to be.
And I will say though, although he's taking hits with the Doomhammer, which is not ideal when you don't have healing as a shaman, he had the best possible start to allow him to be able to take that damage. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He was able to control the board fairly effectively. He's not at critical health now, but he can't take too many hits from minions, or he will be, especially if this Doomguard comes out. I mean, right now there's 9 damage, or there's you could actually throw out 11 damage from the hand, 5 damage on the board, and bring him down to 2 health if you were so inclined. I don't think he'll quite throw everything out since he doesn't have much of a follow-up to that.
Yeah.
And he could, you know, if his board was cleared, then that would be rather dangerous. But he could bring his opponent down to 2 health.
My God. Oh my God. He gets the Void Caller.
This is the Dream Void Caller.
Yeah. He was waiting for this. And now he's going to get 2 1/1s. And I wonder, does he trade? He doesn't trade. Okay, so he hasn't gotten to that point where the Warlock has shifted from board control to face damage. And that's an important point for the Shaman, because at that point, you really can you have to shift your game as well, effectively.
If he can run the Void Caller into something for it to die, which he won't be able to, if he had that opportunity, he would have 14 damage bursts from the hand.
It would be so brutal.
And it would actually be, no, what he has on the board, it wouldn't be.
Oh,
it wouldn't
be really close, yeah.
Yeah, he's brutally close then.
And this is a point where I believe the Shaman, yeah, he's gonna trade. I was thinking you really do want to just start actually going for face to race, but okay, I can understand at least clearing one of those. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Clear one. Now you go face with the weapon. I think that's a good idea here. So yes, he's gonna do that. Chooses to prevent better trades. Okay. Doomguard. You know what he can do? He can power overwhelming his own Void Caller. That will kill it and get the second Doomguard out for free.
That's true. The only issue is you don't get to utilize the charge on the Doomguard.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a nice play in general. Let's take a look at right now what he could do. If he power overwhelmings the Void Caller, that's like 7 damage. Soulfire brings him up to 11, and then Doomguard, he is 1 off of lethal this turn.
And then he'd have to get a favorable discard as well.
No, Soulfire. Even if he Soulfires, he'll keep one of the Doomguards.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
All right, so this is a strong play. It doesn't give him as much of an almost assured lethal, but yeah. So if he had power overwhelming, then Soulfired, he would have been able to play all 3 of those cards in 100% of circumstances.
Unless, well, no, the Soulfire could discard not the Doomguard, but oh, you're saying he plays the power overwhelming, then yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I got you. Yeah. I follow you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you just go ahead and play power overwhelming first. He would have been 1 off of lethal.
I was misunderstanding the order you were describing, but that is absolutely a solid play. Why do you think he didn't do that?
You know, this actually worked out very well for him. He did discard the Soulfire, but he has the second Doomguard in his hand. There are some cases where even if you can bring your opponent down to 1 health, it's not the right play. And if you were going to go up against, you know, like a Bloodlust or a Rockfighter or something, that could be, you know, GG from the... But wait a minute.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
So, and by the way, this deck is running 2 Void Callers, so it wasn't exactly I mean, it was a good draw, but he had 2 chances to get it, so it's pretty nice.
Oh, he rolls the taunt totem.
Oh!
He had
50. Oh wait, no, 1 out of 3. Not bad. Not bad. 33% chance. Not bad at all. So okay, you can do 10 damage with the Doomhammer. You can do 12 total, and effectively, you're saying if you don't roll something, I win. You need to clear this. You need to roll a Soulfire, right? Is that what you need? You need a Soulfire? I'm trying to think what else you could get here.
I believe so.
Power Overwhelming will not do it. Void Caller will... Void Terror, excuse me, will not do it.
He's 1 off of lethal with the Power Overwhelming. Oh my goodness.
Oh, we've got ourselves a concede, and D2 takes the first game! Oh, DKMR is representing. Look at this.
Oh man, I guess you're excited to see a Shaman win, aren't you?
Okay, it is mostly that I'm excited to see a Shaman win, but actually what I'm really excited about was how good Xixo played to get back into that game. He was nowhere in that game for like 5 turns. But that wasn't his fault, though. It was just by the draws.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough draw at first. It was a really solid start from... I would say it was a really solid mid game, but then when it came to the end and how he was just able to brutally control the board, turn after turn, that was such a good play in the end from D2.
Yeah. Oh, looks like I was on a different overlay there. All right, so we've got we're going to the next set of decks. We have a couple minutes here, I think, or at least a minute here as we wait. So okay, now you've used your Warlock. That, by the way. I can say this because it was well, you know what? I won't say anything because we didn't see any of the other decks, so I won't say anything yet because it could give something away. But as we see the next decks pick, let's jump into the mulligans. Then we will talk about them. So we've got a few more matches here, a few more games here, and we're going to see that Hunter, which is a very strong counter. And as a shaman, you're really excited you got that one win in. So if he loses here, at least he's gotten his use out of it.
Yeah. It's a strong start. Keeping Earthshock here is pretty nice just to keep down the web spinner immediately and keep it getting any value. Also, we see the Undertaker start is going to be another prime Earthshock target.
Yep, and I actually tend to keep the Defender of Argus as the Shaman in this matchup, but I don't have nearly as much early game with the oozes that I'm looking for. So I think that's a really interesting difference between his deck and some of the other decks I've seen and have been played. Earthshock's still really good, you always keep that. And draws a Lightning Storm. That's kind of more of a late game card after they've unleashed. Bloodlust is a late game card. So while you've got that Echoing Ooze, which is a great start because you get 2 minions right off the bat, Shaman's at a bit of a disadvantage, not just in the matchup, but with his hand.
Looking at this Lightning Storm, it could be really solid on turn 4 after that Houndmaster comes out to clean up this spider and then use the Echoing Oozes to take out the small little spiderlings. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lightning Storm coming out next turn if we do have that Houndmaster.
Yeah, but the Shaman also has the Ferals now, so he can you actually it's more ideal to play them on turn 4 if you can, because that allows you on turn 5 to still Storm. If you Feral this turn, you can't Storm next turn, so it's either going to be Ferals this turn or Totem, and so it's going to be tricky. You can Totem and Earthshock. It's not ideal, but it's a playable. And he is going to Totem, which means he's going to... Oh, excuse me! Gets the correct Totem. Gets the Spell Power Totem. The Wrath of Air!
I can't quite see it on my screen yet, but yeah, that Wrath of Air is perfect. It allows him to take out the Undertaker immediately.
You're slightly delayed, huh? If you wanna relog in on this viewer, it'll catch you up.
Alright, perfect. I'll go ahead and do that.
Or you can wait till next game. Either or. Okay. Alright, so, okay, so Houndmaster makes a lot of sense here. You want to bring that down and then allow it to attack to trade, and then also you've got the Spider as your taunt, and because the Earthshock was used, it's not going to be useful, but this is a hexable target, and it looks like D2 agrees. That's a solid target to hex, and he's going to also save needing to use the Lightning Storm. So this is working out actually as well as it could. But with the addition of Web Spinner and the Leper Gnome, as well as the Eaglethorn Bow, Hunter's got everything he needs here.
Right, this is a really nice hand from Hunter. The Fire Elemental turn 6 will be strong, but I don't know if he'll be able to do it. Does he Feral Spirits this next turn? Doesn't really have another play. He has a really rough 5 mana.
He gets the Defender, so if he yeah, I think it's going to be Ferals. You could clear the Houndmaster though. And that's nothing wrong with that. He's gonna Feral and Totem, which he's doing specifically, I think, because he got the Defender of Argus. And you don't typically catch the Stoneclaw Totem with Taunt, so sometimes that Totem stays alive, in which case you Defender it up.
All right, I think that was fairly solid. It doesn't let it play the Fire Elemental, but it does put up a little bit of a wall. There's a really easy response already with the bow and with this Houndmaster, especially since the Houndmaster gets to stay alive with 1 health. What he was also banking against is that, of course, the Hunter didn't have Buzzard Unleash, because that would have been a really great way to draw 3 cards and put himself up on the board really nicely. He's fishing for that Starving Buzzard because he wants that combo soon. His hand is looking really thin right now, and that's one of the weaknesses from Hunter is that you do need the synergies, or else your hand will look pretty weak by itself.
Yeah, but bear in mind that he's got a good trap to sort of effectively remove a giant minion, which could come out next turn. It's not going to come out this turn because he's at 2 overload. So it's probably the Violet Teacher here or the Storm. And if you're thinking about the Storm here, it saves you a significant amount of damage. So I don't see it as a problem. Also, if there's an Unleash that was going to happen last turn, it would have. You don't have anything on the board. He's not going to Unleash anytime soon. And I think you have to deal with the immediate threats in this kind of a matchup.
You're right. I would go for the Storm here. Violet Teacher can get taken out really easily by the Web Spinner and the Houndmaster. And if you can kill 3 things with a Lightning Storm, I don't know that you're going to get much of a better opportunity against a Hunter, who doesn't necessarily have to keep minions around on the board to deal a lot of damage.
So he Violet Teachers. What he's valuing is that next turn he can Storm and then Defender the minion that comes out. But that's if the Violet Teacher survives. Let's see how greedy this Hunter is. The Hunter is incredibly greedy. So he's going to get the Shaman down to 11 hit points. But that will give the Shaman a really nice turn here, which is Lightning Storm into Defender. And, okay, so let's see what happens here. How do you respond as the Hunter? Because he's only got...
pray for Starving Buzzard.
Yeah, you pray for Starving Buzzard, for sure. 9 health. Okay. You know, D2's alive. He's got 2 taunts. He draws a Mad Scientist and a High Main. The High Main can't come off the board, so High Main's not bad here, but I think you kind of prefer the Scientist and the damage. Maybe Scientist, damage, and Trap. Yeah. Scientist, Hero Power, Trap is a pretty solid play.
Yeah, pushes through as much damage as possible, get something on the board. If you High Main, it could be Hex. You already know that 1 Hex is down, but it doesn't necessarily do a lot for your board position since you're going to have to attack through 2 taunts anyway.
Yeah.
I think right now just pushing through damage and hoping for the win through a kill command is going to be a much easier way to guarantee victory.
And by the way, this Hunter is running 3 different traps, so if he does kill that Scientist, sometimes they only run 2 traps, it would basically nullify the Death Rattle, but in this case it would not nullify the Death Rattle. Yes, it would not. So Freezing Trap brings the Defender back. There's nothing better than getting that Defender back after he's done his job. And now he's at 5 health. So what D2 is thinking is it possible to kill him before he can Hero Power me 3 times? That's what he's thinking.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough situation to be in, but if Hunter doesn't get all the right draws, then it might just be enough since he's not getting that Buzzard. He's going to be able to take out the Violet Teacher right now by throwing everything into it, and he's hoping for a Freezing Trap to keep that 6 damage from coming towards his face.
Did he get? I didn't see it. It was so fast.
Yeah, he didn't mouse over it. It doesn't actually pop up on your screen. You have to mouse over it to see.
I thought he might have.
That came up. But I mean, so it's really crucial for the Hunter to get the right draw. The Shaman at this point can't really do anything to secure his victory. Of course, he has to take out this Haunted Creeper, or at least throw out a Nubrian Egg and taunt it up, which I expect to be the play.
And you know what? Next turn, he's going to have Bloodlust plus Rockbiter. So let's just say 2 minions are on the board. That's 6 plus 3. It's 9 damage plus the board. And there should be 2 minions on the board. So there is actually a legitimate chance that if the Hunter doesn't draw, let's say, a kill command or something, that the Shaman's got this.
Oh man, it's a Hunter though. He's gonna draw kill command.
Here it is. What do we get? What do we get? Hunter's Mark! I don't think
keeps him alive.
Well, let's think about this. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 damage. That's lethal.
Oh.
That's lethal.
Wow.
That's lethal.
Okay. All right. I'm so pessimistic.
And a Flame Tongue Totem. Don't even put it down. You don't need to. All right. Do it. Go for it.
There it is. There it is. The overkill. The overkill is so real. So what was really nice is that he knew that it wasn't a Freezing Trap since he did attack with Fire Elemental last turn. He knew it was going to be that Snake Trap. And so he's able to bring it through on 1 health. You never expect to live with 1 health against a hunter, but he managed to do it.
That's like highlight VOD, you know, and you're like, oh, that was such a good stream game. I want to put that on my Twitter, on my Twitch. I'm going to show everybody. Here it is at the Invitational. D2 taking a 2-0 against our challenger, the formidable Xixo.
That was very nice. That was very well played. I really like how he just kind of safely and consistently played up his taunts, didn't worry too much, puts through a little bit of damage when he could. But, I mean, in the end, I think it really fell down to what was some unfortunate hunter draw, since he never got one of those kill commands. He never got the buzzard either, which most likely would have drawn into a kill command. And so I guess sometimes you do have to roll the dice a little bit, and it ended up paying off. Right now, this Shaman deck is 2-0, and I think that's a really nice spot to be in. You have 3 other decks to fall back on if you do lose a game. But right now, you're with one of your most consistent, safest decks that you feel very comfortable on.
Yep. And with that, we're going to get into game number 3 of the best of 7 here at the DKMR Invitational. Thank you guys all for joining us. If you're having a good time so far, let us know. Hunter is down. That means we will not be seeing another Hunter from Xixo. It is time for the Rogue to take his shot against D2 Shaman. And he's got a Sinister Strike, Fan of Knives, Shadow Step, and Deadly Poison. Are we seeing a Backspace Rogue? No, it's a variant of the Miracle.
Yeah, right now Backspace Rogue is pretty much dead. I was actually talking to Backspace, and he said he can't even run it because of Sludge Belcher. That single card essentially killed the entire deck archetype.
Wow.
And
look at Blizzard killing decks left and right with their Naxxramasness. What are you doing, Blizzard? Get out of here.
It's alright. Hey, they cured cancer. They cured cancer. They were able to remove the Cancer Rogue, and I think that's all we can hope for.
That's true. So onto this game. We don't have a Gadget's End for the Rogue, which is really important. There's no winning this game. There's very little winning this game without it. And from the Shaman, we have Harrison. You love Harrison in this matchup because Rogue is slow compared to the other decks he's been facing, so you're going to get some great Harrison value.
That's really true. I definitely think that this is a pretty nice matchup for the Shaman, since you can actually go a little bit more aggressive than you typically would. You just make sure that you constantly have out taunts, that you can maintain threats even past the saps, and then you just prevent your opponent from going for his, 1-turn deal 87 damage.
Yeah. 87. I like the number you picked.
It's I don't know. I think the most I've managed to calculate is like 34 damage in 1 turn from Miracle, which is entirely possible with all the prep eviscerates and cold bloods and everything. But it's ludicrous. I think right now I would say usually under 20s when you start to feel vulnerable.
Yeah.
But with his hand right now, which has a really tremendous curve, where he can throw out Defender of Argus whenever he feels comfortable with it, whenever he feels necessary for that taunt, for that little bit of buff.
I prefer the Unbound here. I think it's the right play. It will allow you to next turn bring out the Drake or the Defender, which just gives you options and is really nice.
Right, of course. I wasn't saying he should have played the Defender of Argus,
no.
Right now,
I don't think you were. I didn't say that. He can
now taunt it up and has a perfect trade onto the Earthburning Farseer.
You know when I disagree with you, I like to be very, very straightforward about it.
All right, perfect. Well,
but you're commentating. Your understanding of the game knowledge is so strong. I feel comfortable calling you out.
No, thank you. That means a lot to me. I definitely miss. What I've liked is that I haven't missed lethal, except for that nice calculation you did on that last time with the Bloodlust Shaman. I didn't.
That's all right. Shaman's my main. It's all good.
Oh yeah.
So okay, we're gonna bring down the Flame Tongue. You generally want to get that extra value on the Flame Tongue, 2 hits. But if you've got Feral Spirits, you're okay with it because it's going to be hard to clear, or it's not going to be worth clearing if they use like an Eviscerate or something. So here's going to be, as you can see, the Eviscerate comes down on the Feral, not the Totem. But this is a good clear. This is exactly what Xixo and the Miracle Rogue needs to stay in this game. Because if the Shaman gets a little bit ahead of you, it's going to be game over real quick.
It's true, but I think that Deadly Poison belongs in a museum.
It doesn't this turn with the Overload. Oh. But next turn it might.
Darn it! I didn't see that. I was so excited to see it in a museum.
I know. I agree. It's quite the exciting it's quite the exciting excursion to go to a museum with that particular type of poison.
Last night I got to Harrison a Doomhammer. It was probably the best feeling of my entire life. I don't think I've ever felt anything better.
It's nice.
But what's nice is that he also now traded away his weapon. There's no Harrison opportunity here. There is a nice little opportunity for clear. It doesn't feel that good to Earthshock something with 1 health that you don't also get to silence.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But in this matchup, there's not a lot to silence.
And you're totally fine with this as well. Like, again, you want to get your threats out. This is a race of sorts. It's a very different kind of race. But you will not win this by letting your opponent get ahead or not having threats on the board. So this is a very sappable minion. Because effectively you're preventing the damage of the minion on next turn, as opposed to really caring about the 3 damage in the battle cry. So I mean, I don't see any other thing to do but to sap this. You really have to. Yeah. So okay. So he's gonna sap it. There's no other choice here with what he's looking at. And it's a fine play. You don't care about the 3 damage here. That's not what your concern is.
The issue with sapping is that sap is also your only way to win past a taunt, and a lot of times you want to save that for your Leroy turn. But in this case, since he has to use sap to remove the threats, that's how essentially you play against a Miracle Rogue, is you develop threats enough, you force out the saps early, so that now you can throw out the Feral Spirits. And now how does he get rid of the Feral Spirits? He's already down 1 Deadly Poison.
You're gonna need
Strong Blade Flurry.
Yeah, you're gonna need Blade Flurry, and there's no way around it. And he has one in the deck. He brings out the Deadly Poison. And to your point, I think this Deadly Poison belongs in a museum.
Oh man, I'll just be excited to see that. He has a couple more times to draw, and if he can Blade Flurry this, it would definitely put him in a really good spot, since he's now starting to draw through a large part of his deck.
I like Shiv here because it's one card draw, so I wouldn't Shiv that though. No, I wouldn't have Shivved the Feral, but I would have Shivved the Drake maybe. But that's okay. And he draws a Backstab. He also draws a second Sinister Strike. I think it's Fan of Knives time. Oh, okay, there you go. Backstab, then Fan of Knives.
I haven't seen too many Miracle decks running double Sinister Strike recently. It's a really nice way to draw, but sometimes it feels a little bit dead in your hand.
Yeah.
The Conceal is going to feel really nice.
And this is one of those times, right, that it feels really dead?
Right, exactly, where you can draw cards, but it doesn't have any sort of impact on the board other than just 1 mana draw card.
All right, short round. We go into the museum? Is that what's going on now, short round?
I think he has to be... No, he doesn't have to be afraid. He has 27 health. He's not afraid of too much.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I think there's no way right now to kill the... Actually, let's see. If you play the Drake, you get 2... No. There's no way to kill that. Even if you had the Drake, you need 1 more mana to drop that Storm down that you'd potentially draw. I think it's time.
All right. I mean, it's also a pretty good threat on the board. Not much less of a threat than the Fire Elemental, and you can save the Fire Elemental's damage to ping something else off that he might throw down, like an SI7 agent or Northern
or to clear the Gadget's End when he doesn't have Conceal next turn.
Right.
It's going to be a
absolutely.
possibility. So okay, he's going to bring out the Ooze. Okay, moment of truth. Drake always going to defend her, so he's going to play it safe. You know, I think because he's mousing over the defender here, guys. I think there's nothing wrong with this, but the one concern you might have is should your opponent draw into that Blade Flurry, you're SOL, you're shit out of luck.
Oh yeah, that would be absolutely rough. He has a lot of time, a lot of chances to draw into it. Like, I mean, he's going to get through the majority of his deck this turn. The Sinister Strike right now is actually going to be incredibly useful.
Drake, not going to play that. Okay, so preparation.
Oh man, he just has so many chances to draw it. He can prep Fan of Knives. Preparation.
What? Okay, so Fan of Knives is free. That's 2 more cards. You know what? I think with his mana, he's going to guarantee drawing into it. I just don't think... I'm trying to... He's got a Shiv now.
Oh my god.
There's no way he's not drawing into this. Yeah, there's no way he's not drawing... Okay, Blood Mage. So, okay, it's going to be a Shiv, and that's it. There's like... I think there's 3 cards or 4 cards left in this from what I can see. So, I think that pretty much... Oh, he moused over it. I missed it.
He can't Shiv, or he burns where he burns it. He literally can't.
Well, he
shiv.
can play something and then shiv. So Edwin
That's
Van
true.
Cleef, then shiv, and he's running out of time. Shadow Step. All right, and then Blade Flurry. There it is.
Last card in the
There it is.
deck.
Last in the deck,
Answer.
and he's
the
starting to
14
fatigue.
Wait a minute. Okay, so 14-14, and then he played 2 cards after the Edwin Van Cleef.
Yeah,
So he played 9 cards that turn,
yeah.
drew through his entire deck, and now has an enormous threat on the board.
I wonder if D2 is like, you know, there's a small chance he won't draw it. And it's like, actually, he'll draw his entire deck. There's no chance. And he's going to play Harrison on just a 1/1. That doesn't feel as good. I think that was his way of apologizing. Don't you think? That was his way of saying, like, I could draw a card here, but ultimately maybe I should have played that the turn before.
Yeah, I definitely think it was a little bit greedy to spread yourself kind of that thin across your board against the potential Blade Flurry, especially with the card draw mechanic that Gadget's End brings.
Yeah.
And like when you look at the hand, even if he had a worse hand than what he did, there was really no way not to draw every card in your deck out of that.
Yep.
And so, I mean, that's miracle for you. You draw every card in your deck in 1 turn and win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was
Wow.
ludicrous, that turn.
Wow. Shaman had a good run. It's now 2-1, and Xixo is on the rise, trying to take out D2, our DKMR Pro, our champion. And D2 is going to go Hunter style. He's going to go into the jungle. He's going to break out the Hunter. He's got the Web Spinner. He's got a couple Buzzards hanging out. He's got an Unleash. You know, he's got a nice... I say, yeah, get rid of a Buzzard and... just go jungle style on him. Just try to get a quick board, draw some nice beasts, and then unleash on his ass.
Yeah, I mean, Unleash isn't actually very strong in this matchup just because you don't expect Miracle to have many minions out on the board at any time, and that's why he's going to throw it away. He can keep the Buzzard, though, because Buzzard will still draw cards from a Animal Companion, from Web Spinner, from Haunted Creeper. And I think that's definitely the right move, because you just have to think, you know, there are going to be turns where my Unleash the Hounds will literally play no Hounds.
Yeah, and you know, just so you guys know, this is a best of 7, so no matter what, there'll be at least 1 more match, if not 2. Or wait, excuse me, no matter what, there'll be at least 2 more matches, if not more. Okay, you know, you make a really good point, and I want to bring that up. So, Miracle doesn't play a ton of minions. He doesn't go for board control in the traditional sense. Why would you then play the Hunter against this? Why would you choose that as your deck?
I would say because Hunter can push through damage and develop threats so well that if you put Rogue on a timer, and you can just kill them before they can draw into their combo. You also have nice little answers like Explosive Trap and Freezing Trap to keep away the Leroy. You have Flare to take the stealth off of the Gadget's and Auctioneer as well to potentially remove him on the turn he's played. So I think that Hunter actually is traditionally very strong against Miracle Rogue just because of your ability to answer his threats while also just pushing through damage consistently every turn. Yeah, so right now we're going to go ahead and see the Huffer coming out and trading, which doesn't feel too good since that's, you know, what usually feels like 8 damage from the Huffer to just now take out an Earthering Farseer, but he knows that if he just went for face, then a backstab could remove it way too easily. And this is kind of a dream start here from our buddy Xixo, who just came off of what was a very, very nice win against the Shaman. The bow is going to be a rather inefficient use of mana, but he needs to take care of the spell power right away. And so we're going to go ahead and see that attack on. It's going to put him in not too good of a spot coming into turn 5 with absolutely nothing on the board and with literally not a point of damage on his opponent. A 30 health Miracle feels pretty good right now. He can go ahead and just re-dagger and play out an SI-7 agent without the battle cry just because it's a minion and he can start pushing through for damage to set up for his explosive turn. He's feeling a little luxurious coming up against this Hunter who hasn't been able to really create or respond to threats. And with this current hand, although he has a lot of explosive damage from the double kill command, although he has some nice card draw and responsive cards, he just doesn't have anything that's strong by itself, and he has to play a Houndmaster naked on the board. This is currently like an excellent start from the Miracle Rogue. He hasn't taken any damage, on turn 6. And he can already afford to throw out the Gadget Sand backstab attack with his knife, and even prep out a... he can prep out a fan, which will be even better than taking the 4 damage to the face. Oh man, this is a dream for Xixo. This is the ideal Miracle game.
Deadly Poison coming down.
He's already drawn 4 or 5 cards on this turn. He's kept his opponents from playing any minions on the board. He's kept his life up at 30. It'll be hard to see D2 coming back from this. If he rolls a Huffer, he can take out the Gadget Sand. Oh, he just has to use the kill command on it.
Yeah, he's gonna use kill command, which is not as good, but it's not horrible, but it's not as good. He wants to push here for damage.
Right, that's true, and it's definitely necessary to remove that Gadget Sand, since if you leave it alive for 2 turns, then you've essentially lost the game. You just can't beat the amount of card drawn responses from your opponent. But again, just response after response, keeping himself at full health, bringing his opponent low. He already has Leroy double Shadow Step in hand, so next turn he does have lethal if the freezing or explosive trap don't come out, but I expect to see them there. Simply from his weapon and from his Leroy combo, he has 8 mana, deal 21 damage.
8 mana deal. That's a push.
Yep.
That's a burst, if you will.
Yep. And so if he chooses to, so he has to both play freezing or explosive and remove the Earthring Farseer, or he's lost the game. Right now, that's the timer that he was put on, and that usually you're fine on as a hunter, because usually you can deal a lot of damage and create a slightly stronger board earlier.
And wow, okay, so it looks like he's gonna coin Unleash at this point, or no, another Buzzard. So it looks like that is gonna be game.
Yep. Wow. He played. I'm surprised that he didn't play that a little bit more safely. He was fishing for something, but I don't know what he was fishing for, because he's just left himself completely open without playing a trap, without trying to remove the threat on the opponent's board. And that's game. So Xixo is going to bring this back up even to 2-2 with a nicely played Miracle Rogue. That's just the dream game. Every turn he had a perfect response.
Yeah, it was a pretty brutal dream.
Right,
and that takes us to 2-2. Our challenger has tied it up, and we are going into game number 5. So with that, let me just jump back to casters as they pick their decks. Okay, so you had a really good start as D2. You then kind of got pushed back a little bit. But, you know, you have good decks to deal with this. So D2, there's a Druid in here. There's his own Rogue in here. What do you do here? Do you counter with a Rogue? Do you go with the Druid?
I think he goes Druid. We saw how well he played Druid last week, and how he was able to get kind of a dream start of a very quick innervated Fugan. And what he did was he got out the saps early, and then just continued to layer on way too many threats, which is something that Miracle Rogue has a really hard time dealing with, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Yeah. He's going to hope for the early innervates and just early threats to just kind of beat down his opponent. This is Ramp Druid. It's not that kind of aggressive token version we've been seeing recently.
He's got 2 Wild Growth, he's got 1 Mark of the Wild, and this deck is aptly named Stalag Crush You. Get to the chopper. Stalag want to go and crush.
That's something that we don't often see, is Fugan and Stalag in the Ramp Druid, but they're just really nice additions to give you even additional threats at what is typically a pretty empty position in your mana curve. Typically the 5 mana was just left up to the Druids of the Claw, but now they've also seen the addition of the Sludge Belcher and the Fugan Stalag combo. And right now, that's perfect to be able to just throw out a Wild Growth immediately and be a turn ahead for the remainder of this game. That's going to feel great.
We've had a lot of dreams tonight. We've had the Rogue dream, we've had the Druid dream. I mean, getting out that nice early Wild Growth is always what you're looking for here.
Yeah, absolutely. Much better to play it on turn 2 than to use it to fish on turn 10.
And he draws into a Keeper of the Grove, such a great card. I mean, it's even solid in this matchup when you want to do a little bit of damage.
His curve looks nice. right now, we are just going to see, yeah, not a lot from the Miracle Rogue. We don't typically expect much from the Miracle Rogue in the first few turns unless you see some shenanigans from Edwin Van Cleef or from the SI7 agent. He hasn't shown either of those, which are typically what you're fishing for from turns 1 to 5. He does have Gadget Zan, Coin, Prep, and Conceal, so he will have a really, really strong future. Right now, though, it's not looking as good up against what are increasing threats here. There's Stalag already in the hand as well as a Sunwalker that he has to get through.
And where there is Stalag, there is probably Fugan.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Or
Lothab as well.
Or Lothab. Where there is
Sure,
Stalag, there is Lothab.
So right now, Lothab is the best play from what we know, because we know there's a Gadget Zan, Coin, Prep, and Conceal, which are all going to be played if he doesn't Lothab. But if he Lothabs right now, he keeps that play down, and he develops his board even farther, which is going to be almost impossible for Miracle Rogue to deal with when he comes up into turn 6, tries to draw cards. He can only sap one thing at a time. He can only play very low.
It's a risk, but it's a calculated risk. D2 knows the coin hasn't been played, right? He's a pro. He's keeping track. I would have said play it down now because the coin hasn't been played, but he's going to go with the Sunwalker. So I guess he's maybe gambling that Gadget Zan isn't in the hand. So we're going to see that come down now, right?
Yeah, this is a little bit more on curve, but overall he's not going to feel quite as good, and there's going to be quite a lot of card draw coming up from this Gadget Zan. This is going to help Xixo get back into the game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a backstab to take off the Divine Shield, or just a preparation.
You can prep Blade Flurry backstab, and that gets rid of a lot of stuff. Yep, there goes your Blade Flurry. And then, I guess no backstab in this case then. Oh,
yeah,
okay, so he's going to do it. He's going to do it?
He doesn't know which one to get rid of. He might just want to backstab the Slime, because then he can sap the Sunwalker in the future.
That's not a bad idea, but it looks like he's going to consider killing the Sunwalker in the future with maybe the SI agents, those secret agents.
Yeah, I mean, so that was a really, really nice turn from Xixo. That's what can bring him back into the game. However, the Lothab is always there in the back pocket. Yeah. It's a little bit safer to wait for the Gadget Zan and tell you Lothab. It would have been so great as a proactive play, but it's still a really nice reactive play here.
We saw the hand, so it's really, really easy for us to jump out and say Lothab before Gadget Zan. But the ideal is to have Gadget Zan come down, not have a bunch of stuff played. When he's concealed, you then play Lothab. So I think it's a little disingenuous on our part to say that was definitely the best play last turn without knowing the cards. Right.
That's very true. And like I said, even though it's a great proactive play, it's also an amazing reactive play, which he then brought out. He just keeps his opponent from that infinite card draw, and he can't even conceal. If he wanted to conceal up his Gadget Zan a second time, it would have taken his entire turn.
But unfortunately for D2, Xixo has another Gadget Zan, so the dream is alive still for the Miracle.
Yeah, it's there, but it's hurting a little bit. I don't believe there's a copy of the combo in D2's deck of the Force of Nature Savage Roar.
There is not.
It would just end the game right here, but he still, just look at all the damage he has. Right now, if he wanted to, he could run everything in for 8, swipe up to 12, and he could bring his opponent down to 7 right now if he wanted to throw out everything, but he can just continue to throw out threats. He can play, I would expect to see a Stalag here.
Yeah, maybe.
He could also swipe the Azure Drake.
I think there's nothing wrong with swiping the Drake. But you can also Keeper the Grove here to add a little bit of extra damage. You could Keeper Wrath for 1 and then use your Taunt, but I think the Taunt's valuable. So maybe you actually... Okay, he chooses to swipe. I think that's the standard play. We were kind of looking for more complicated, interesting plays. But, as is the case, bringing your opponent down to 11, keeping a Taunt on board, and having a fearsome board makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, this is just what I expected. The Stalag innervate swipe. When I was looking at everything, that just it puts the most on the board. It clears everything, and it brings your opponent low, very, very low. And what do you do as Miracle Rogue? If you play out Gadget Zan, it takes 5 of your 7 total mana. I think you need to sap the Stalag here to keep that 7 damage off of you, because you don't have a better way of taking care of it unless you think you can draw into your Eviscerate.
Well, he can Shiv first, right? And he can shiv again.
Right, but I mean, everyone, it costs you know, more than a fourth of his mana. Yeah. And I think this is probably it. He can go for the YOLO shiv again.
What would you? I mean, okay, so he does YOLO shiv.
You're hoping for an eviscerate.
Shadow step. Oh, he just conceived.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, he didn't have a response.
Wow.
Get a full hand and
Xixo showing that he knows he's out of the game there. All right, that is a 3-2 lead. So that means that D2 is at the death point. He's at lethal. One game will put him at the win for the night.
Yeah, that's a really, really strong showing here. He was up 2-0 immediately after. He had a hard time responding to that miracle, but that Druid was just such a great response. It's what we called before the match, and it's exactly what we saw, is that you throw out enough threats early on, which is exactly what Ramp Druid is good at with the Wild Growth and with the Innervate, that you keep the Miracle Rogue from getting his dream draws, and you end up ending his life come around turn 10.
Yeah. So let me just take a quick look. I switched it around here because our player was just checking something real quick here, and I didn't want to show it. Okay, so... okay, so he just wanted to check if he was playing what he had submitted. All good. Next game will be starting shortly. And no surprise, the last deck is a Druid.
Alright, Druid on Druid, and we'll see exactly who faces off against the other. I am not too sure what kind of deck list Xixo is running here, so we might see it.
Double Savage Roar, Double Force, Ancient of War, Karn, Black Knight. It's kind of some creepers and oozes with a couple wraths, and you're always fun Innervate. Got some Shade of Naxxramas in here, so this seems to be like the new Shade of Naxxramas Force combo deck.
Yes, that's exactly what we're seeing. Kind of that Strife Crow, Kalento, Impact, Druid, much more aggressive up against the typical Ramp. But one issue is that it does have a really hard time getting through taunts. And so if we can get to the later turns and see some Druid of the Claws, even Ancient of War, which is one of the cards in D2's deck, then there's absolutely no hard removal from this Druid. He just has to run spells and run creatures into it, which could be devastating.
It absolutely can be.
Right off the bat, we see just a very reactive Wrath. He knows that he can hero power it next turn, which is probably what he's going to have to do since his hand is a little bulky right now, just a little awkward. But the Wild Growth right off the bat kind of gives it a nice start. So the Innervate Golem into Wild Growth is pretty much what you're looking for as a ramp. And
that's going to force out the 4/6 Taunter here. That's, I think, a better play. You don't really want to throw the Keeper down and waste its Battle Cry on a 2/1. It's not bad, but you can always use your hero power to deal with that when you have some extra mana. I think this is the solid play here.
And it's just going to be countered by a bear of his own. 2 4/6s staring each other down.
This is some Druid on Druid action with a couple of bears. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a good old zoo in here. And he does trade away his minion to get rid of the swipe value, but I expect just to see...
He goes for the damage here to get the equal clear, and we have quite the mirror match here. A lot of similar plays, but it's going to divert now because we're seeing Stalag, Manip, and the Lothab, and as Fugan, excuse me, that's right, that's the 4/7, and as that happens with the 4/7 coming down, you know, it looks like we're gonna have to have a clear here, which is totally doable. This is a clearable board here.
Right. Okay. So last game,
Ooh, actually, it's not clearable. Excuse me. You were saying last game, yeah?
Oh, right. No, sorry. I was saying there's no copy in D2's deck, but right, yeah. There's no copy there. But he is just pulling out some strong minions right here. We do see the combo, which is something you don't necessarily want to draw into this early in the game. Force of Nature, Savage Roar just kind of way heavy in your hands until you can come through with the burst damage. But right now, the threats coming through from D2's side are going to be difficult to respond to, especially with a hand full of spells you can't play.
I mean, you think you want to save the Lothab for the combo kill, but that was the perfect time to play it. That was a dead turn. Can you think of the last time you've seen an opponent force a dead turn out of another opponent in a tournament? I can't think of
I don't know, but part of it is just the terrible draw from Xixo, seeing that he has that he has nothing but spells in his hand. That's something you never want to see.
But
Even
you
if you
certainly
had
would have
both
Force
it
of
would be a
Nature
bad
there,
match.
right? So I'm sorry to interrupt you or step on you there, but certainly you would have Force of Nature had you had the chance last turn.
Right, you just need to throw out the 2/2s and start trading into things. I mean, right now it's so inefficient though, because the 5 health on everything there.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
a nightmare.
I don't know what you do here. I don't know
guess
that you can
swipe hero power.
All right. It takes it down.
I didn't say it was good, Disciple.
No, dude. You're right. You're right. And it does enable a potential, slightly better force. Even he might have to combo it down. He might have to force Savage.
Yeah, but I mean, if you
the
draw an Ancient of War, booyah! Okay, wait a second. He draws it, he plays it, and D2 takes a commanding lead. And Xixo almost admits it. Oh, he does it.
It's the demandingest of leads.
4-0 goes our challenge. Excuse me, 4-2 goes our challenger, and D2 takes his second win. Guys, stick around for just a moment. We're gonna have an interview with Xixo and with D2. So give me just a moment here. Let me jump it back to the casters real quick.
That Ancient of War, exactly what we were saying before the game was that if you're going with this aggressive druid, you have to build up your board and push in for damage early because you can't push through those large taunts. You don't have any hard removal. And that Ancient of War was just the nail in the coffin for Xixo. He knew he couldn't get through it, and so he just went ahead and threw in the towel.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. Okay, so Xixo has exercised his right to not interview. Understandable. Sometimes you either it's late at night for these pros, or you don't want to interview when you lose. There's a lot of reasons here, and I don't know the reasons, so I'm just making this all up. And he
does live in Germany. It's awkwardly in the morning there.
Yeah,
I don't.
Understandable.
I don't fault him at all, but I'm excited to talk to D2 after yet another week as king now. I mean, I guess his first week as the reigning king, but he gets to keep it going into week 12 as well.
Sounds good. So I'm going to bring up D2 here, if we can here. Let's add him into this call. Add to the call. Oops, wrong one. No, what are you doing?
Yeah, I love seeing that druid coming out. It's what we saw go 4-0 last week as well. And so I'm not too surprised to see it doing well once again. And I mean, last week I asked him, what makes this druid so strong? And he's like, it's not that strong. I just had really good games. But then once again this week, it's what he closed out the series with. Yeah,
I hear you. D2.
Hey,
Daniel, congratulations. You have defended or won 2 weeks in a row. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I could not believe those first 2 games. Basically, okay, so I drink a lot of tea and water when I'm playing just to make sure I'm hydrated, right? But then so in between I was like, all right, be right back, I gotta go to the bathroom, and then I was just on the way, I'm like, I can't believe I won that. It's pretty. I was so close to conceding in both of those games, but I mean, you can't concede until it's over.
No, dude, you're a professional. You're a professional.
Yeah, sometimes you top deck Rockbiter and roll a Taunt Totem and win the game.
Yeah, I mean that Xixo had lethal. He was one off of lethal 2 turns in a row in both those games. I mean, you held on so close, and that shaman deck came strong through for you for once another week.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the shaman, the druid, those both carried you to some pretty nice wins.
Yeah, the same decks that worked well last week worked well this week. Yeah.
And I don't know if you caught the earlier games, but Xixo played some fantastic games against Faramir. He, even in the games versus you, in all of the games, I never felt like he made any gigantic misplays, and I also felt like he could be at a deficit and find his way back. Like, he's a very versatile opponent.
Yeah, Xixo is really good. I played him a while ago. The last time I played him was about a couple months ago, and I beat him pretty handily. And I was like, well, Xixo's not that great. But since then, he's just gotten so much better. It's actually ridiculous. And I mean, top of the ladder. He's qualified for VGVN twice. He's really, really good.
Yeah, he's a formidable opponent. And so, how did you feel that? What did you feel was went your way or not your way? What are your thoughts on the series?
What went my way was I got a crazy win in the first 2 games. And also did I get wild growth in the first Druid game? I'm not sure.
You did. Yes,
I did.
You
Okay,
did. You got
yeah.
wild growth,
So,
and you also got it on turn 2 with after your first harvest golem innervate on.
oh yeah, and I kept the Sunwalker. That's right.
Yeah. Talk us through that. You played the Sunwalker instead of the Lothab when he had the coin in the Gadget's hand, and we knew he had the Gadget's hand in his hand. We knew he had all the cards to play, but we thought, knowing that information, you should always play the Lothab because he got so many cards. You don't know that information, but you obviously played him when he came down and was concealed, preventing that next turn. Give us your thought process on that.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking about Lothab there, because the way he played was like he didn't use the coin at all the entire time, and like his hand was so full. I'm like, he's got to have gadgets in coin conceal here, but I was thinking like if he just gadgets in coin conceals and doesn't have a prep, or doesn't have, even if he does have a prep, he just like preps and like just throws something away just to draw cards. Then I can just shut him down the next turn, and it's more mana efficient that way as well. Because I get to play the 6-drop, and that 6-drop is really, really hard to get through. And if he's gadget sitting, he has to have like the perfect answers. Like obviously it could all go wrong if he has like the perfect answers, like gadget sit, like double prep, some crazy stuff. But I was just banking against that. And sometimes you can't really play scared. You have to play like proactive. And I was like, okay, I'll play this now, and then I can play Lothab on the turn afterward.
Yeah, that was very nice to see your thought process there. And I think a really good decision there. I mean, really strong games. We saw last week the Druid also beat down the Miracle pretty heavily. Would you say that that's probably the best matchup you could imagine against a Miracle?
I mean, Hunter does pretty well against Miracle right now. I wasn't expecting him to have. I mean, I guess I need to see the Decklists for his Miracle. It looks like it did pretty well. And also Shaman recently has been beating Miracle as well. So I mean, going to that third game, I was pretty confident about that. Faramir, the guy who unfortunately lost the first game. I mean, we basically recently the way that Shaman works is if you have like all these Death Rattle minions in your deck, which I don't have as many, but in general, if you have them, it's just so. You get Rogue to use all the removal, and they'd have nothing left because they're using all the removal on like little Death Rattle minions here that are hard to kill. So those are pretty good matchups. Basically, Ramp Druid, it's like if you get Wild Growth, you probably win. If you don't, you probably don't. Is what happens.
Okay,
and I was just banking on that. I didn't really want to go into a Rogue Mirror because my Rogue was like not supposed to beat Rogue. It was supposed to beat other classes like Shaman and Zoo. Because I had mind control tech data and stuff like that. So
talk to us about your discipline, your thought process coming into the Best of 7 series. You submitted 2 deck lists to me, one for Xixo and one for Faramir. This is something that your teammate did last week. It makes me really excited that you guys are showing that level of preparation. Talk to me about the team's mentality or your mentality, or just give me some of your thoughts on that idea.
Yeah, I mean, the team goes through a lot of preparation before each of these matches. We don't just like, oh, let's just play whoever. I mean, it's a really big deal. We're going out of our way to invite these professionals, and the professionals are gracious enough to play us. And then so we have to take it really seriously. We have to go through every deck, and also, I mean, if I were to play Faramir, I have to take that match seriously as well. Right. First of all, you can't just we have to show viewers a good show. First of all, I mean, we have to be playing.
Give good games. Give good games.
And also, it's a bit of pride being on the back line, being the defender. So I mean, it's pretty serious.
Well, you can say that now. It's 2 weeks in a row. I mean, you did it last. I mean, you took it out last week, and now you're doing it this week. Also, I think what's important for viewers to know is if you love Hearthstone, you want to play casually, that's wonderful. But if you're interested in being a pro, this tournament gives an insight into what it takes, right? Yeah. You can't really see all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes, but you can see some of it. And I think it's important for people to realize that shows like this, tournaments like this, being a pro, while games are fun, it's a very serious business. And while you want to have fun doing it, it's something that we want to convey to people, that it means the world to us, but also it's important to be prepared. So
yeah, exactly.
I think that's great.
I mean, it's called esports, right? I mean, sports.
Yeah.
I mean, even real sports, you play for the fun of the game, but you have to train hard in order to be the best. So that's basically what we're doing here.
Yeah, absolutely. Any thoughts, Disciple?
Yeah, I'm really impressed by the amount of preparation and dedication that D2 showed coming into this, and how strong of a competitor he is. I was surprised to see Xixo knocked down. I honestly thought Xixo was going to potentially take it through, just because I've seen a lot of him before. I knew he's such a strong player, but you know, D2 impresses me once again in week 2, and he's definitely you're definitely a player that I'm excited to see more of in the future. I thought that was such a well played match, and I love your ramp druid because I mean last week we saw it go 4-0. This week we saw it 2-0 to close out the series, and I think that's definitely a deck that you're going to be feared for.
Yeah, I changed a couple things because I want to make a little bit like we talked about this last week. If it's too slow, you just die. And if you're just dropping 7 drops and that's like your only turn, if they can deal with it, then you're just screwed. So I made it a little bit faster. I threw in a mind control tech in there as well.
I saw that. I saw that.
But I took out snares. You know, what else I put it there? I made it a little bit faster just so I can kind of deal with this stuff.
Okay, so let's talk about your mind games here. Faramir does incredibly well with the hunter, and we all know how strong it is.
You mean Xixo?
I'm sorry, because Faramir's new. I keep it in my brain. He's linked in with like new. So you're right. Sorry, excuse me. Xixo does really well with the hunter, and you come in and you pick shaman. Talk to me. What's going on in your brain?
It was the same mindset as last week, where I feel confident with my shaman against his hunter, and I was not confident with my hunter against his hunter.
Interesting. So you
like
know what type of hunter he plays.
Well, I mean, you could. Yeah, sorry guys, I was watching the stream a little bit before it started.
Well, no, that's okay. He's able to change his deck. He's fully. I mean, that's part of the thing here. He is allowed to change his deck and chose not to. So that's a full part of that.
Yeah, but I mean, I figured he wasn't going to change his deck because that's a pretty strong hunter deck he's running. Powder on our team ran a pretty similar version where it just gets out to the really fast start and it's like really hard to deal with. And so yeah, I knew that my hunter really couldn't deal with that, and so the other option was just start with druid, and yeah, it's we were kind of like going over it after Faramir lost and like team speak in our lobby, just thinking about what we should start with. But eventually decided to go with shaman because I felt like it was good against his or it wasn't good, but I feel like it was the best shot against his hunter because. I mean, let's just face it, Hunter's like ridiculous right now, so pretty hard to get like something that absolutely counters it, but I felt like that was my best bet. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions over here? So wait, D2, let me ask you a question. So right. What do you think of the overlays? Like, dislike?
They look fantastic. I love them.
Okay. Disciple,
oh,
okay, yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. What's up?
No, I wasn't looking at the stream, but now like I'm like very big.
You're very big. You're big, and I got your correct Twitter on there, guys. It's at DKMR_D2, and he has won 2 in a row. So, okay, I'm gonna let Disciple ask another question, but right before I do, you have another week ahead of you. You're holding the back line. You're the fullback here, or you're the cleanup, the sweeper. What are your thoughts?
The safety.
Safety. Oh, I like that. Okay, that's a good analogy. What are your thoughts on next week?
Who is next week, by the way? I was focused too much on Xixo.
Good question. I'll find out.
Is it Dark Wanix or something? Is that right?
I think it's Dark Wanix, yeah.
Well, whoever it is, it's going to be a good player because we've been I mean, it's been like great player after great player, week after week. So whoever it is, we'll be doing our best to research that player.
At least it shows you weren't looking past this guy. You were focusing on this one guy, getting his decks ready.
Exactly. Like you can't look past Xixo. I mean,
yeah, it's Dark Wanix. So okay, what are your thoughts on Dark Wanix?
Dark Wanix is a very good player. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Dark Wanix though is I haven't seen him that much. I think he's playing in the WEC today. Is that right? But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to do our homework on him. And he has a lot of strong decks. He's a very good control player, kind of similar to like Gara in that sense. But yeah, so but he likes to switch it up. I mean, sometimes he'll play to like what you think of him, and then he'll like switch it up and play a little faster deck. So we'll definitely see what we'll do our best to try to scout him and prepare.
All right, I'm gonna dangle some fruit in front of you, but before I want to let Disciple ask a question.
I can't say I have a question for you. I just wanted to say, hey, good job once again. Congratulations on maintaining your spot as king.
Dangling here. You ready for this? If you win next week, if you're able to hold the best of 7, not only do you get to take out Dark Wanix, but the following week you get to play and hold the back line against Nimsh. What do you think about that?
I don't know. It's another very good player, and I don't know. I definitely, it definitely gives me motivation to be Dark Onyx, or to have our team be Dark Onyx, I should say. I mean, because Nimsh is also like a really good guy, so I think I'll have fun during the match.
No, for sure. He's a
that.
great guy. I've had him on Masterclass. He's a good personality, great person in the community. But he is a fierce competitor, and he is unshakable, unrattleable. I don't know how well you know his history and his background.
No, I've played a lot. I've seen a lot of his games. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy does not get shaken. He does not get rattled under any kind of pressure. So that's a really important skill to learn and develop. And I'm curious at what your thoughts on, other than just experience, because that's what he said, just years and years of playing, like how you can develop that. I think preparation's key too. Those would be my 2 points that I would say: years of gaming, years of competing, and preparation. So I think. Should you hold the title next week, you're going to have a tough task ahead of you.
He's definitely, all that experience is helping him out. I actually have I'll try to do like a Nimsh impression. Like Nimsh has every time you see him on TV, doesn't he have like this look like he's like laid back like this, and he's kind of like, hold on, he does this, and he's like looking at the screen, and he's going like. He's like so calm. I don't know. It's funny. Yeah.
No, and he always like his humor is great. It's always like a half joke, but you think he might be half serious. He's like, "Oh, really? Should you unleash Buzzard? Like, is that the right play here? Like, it's so great." All right, well, on that note, guys, I want to thank you all so much. Give a shout out to Rokisha. She has helped us with these overlays. Together, her and I built you a whole new invitational look, and with the fantastic team behind us, we have Poach, we have D2, we have all the other DKMR players, as well as Disciple rounding out the team. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to D2, you're first.
I want to thank the rest of my team, make sure I get all of them. So, our newest teammate, Faramir, thanks to Powder, Brad, Christopher, Poach, definitely for Radis, and Rokisha for the overlay, Turbo Swim for being awesome, and oh god, if I forgot someone, they're gonna be so like salty.
Varanus?
I said Varanus, yeah.
Okay.
So
Brad.
Yeah, thanks, Brad.
Let's keep throwing out names.
Just say the entire name again, just to make sure to kind of. Thanks to all of them, and yeah, definitely thanks to all our sponsors for making sure that we can stay afloat, pretty much, and also make sure you follow me. He said Kobayashi said my Twitter before. Also, I stream. I stream at twitch.tv/IMD2, like IMD and then the number 2. Mm-hmm. And so I will be streaming today, so check that out later on. And yeah, that's about it.
All right. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Disciple. It says D2 there, but it's Disciple. You can see it.
All right. Hey. I just wanted to give a shout out to you. Thank you so much, Kobayashi, for bringing me on today to cast. And a big shout out to Team DKMR for having me, to our competitors today, to D2, to Xixo, and to Faramir. And then if you guys want to check out more of me, you can follow me at Disciple Games. You can also check me out at twitch.tv/Disciple Games, where I also do stream every day. And I'm just happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. If you guys aren't sure about that exact spelling, just go to any other point in the video or VOD. It's all over the place. I want to give a actual shout out to everyone who came out tonight. There was another big event, and a lot of you came over and watched this event anyway. So you are the faithful. You know, in Dune, if we have like this Paul Atreides character and the Fremen, you are the faithful. And you know, we appreciate it. We love you guys. We do this for you guys. And thank you so much. Shout out to everyone else as well, the team, the players, Xixo. Next week you got some good players online. Yeah, you know, it's really amazing to be able to produce a fun event with great games, and we're really happy to have you guys. So if you want to support us, give our shout out to sponsor, tell her how much you like the event, give us your feedback about the event, about the overlays, about the players, whatever you want. Please, we want to hear your feedback. We're trying to continually improve and develop, but more than anything, we're trying to have a good time, compete, and create a wonderful event for those people out there who love Hearthstone. So thank you all. We're gonna have another great show next week, same bat channel, same bat time. And with that, does anyone mind if I roll need?